Hi everyone, welcome to the Ultradimensional podcast. My name is Ben and my friend Ciara is right here and she's going to introduce herself.
Hey guys, my name's Ciara.
So we are going to start randomly talking about a ton of things and we have a list of topics here. So first I want to talk about like how we got into this kind of crazy ultradimensional stuff. So like the way I got into it is basically from ever since I was a kid, I've always been into like superheroes and just like magical things, and I always knew from a young age that somehow like that was real. And I know a lot of people feel the same way, and I mean just take a look at the fact that like Harry Potter movies or like Avengers movies are like so like one of the biggest box office hits. I mean that has to say something about how much it resonates with the entire world, right? Like it's a global phenomenon. And so after like the superhero thing, I would say I started getting into law of attraction from my friend Isabella, and she was very into that. And then she also, like a year into like her and I learning law of attraction, she'd mentioned to me this girl, I forgot her last name, Bridget. She's on Gaia though, and she's part of the hybridization program. And so I didn't know anything about that. It was kind of confusing when I learned about it. And then like Isabella was trying to teach me about like the grays, and I was like, who are the grays? And then it sent me down like another rabbit hole. Like I was getting into self-help, law of attraction, and then it really opened up to very like cosmic stuff when I started reading the Conversations with God book, which was one of the best series ever, and that author is like really good. And he never mentions it, but I swear he's a channeler because like, yeah, just read the book. But other than that, where we are now is really evolved, I think. And especially Ciara, like she probably knows so much more than I do. Do you want to talk about how you got into this stuff?
So I got into it basically from self-help. I went through a really dark period in my life, and it was around like 2012 where I started to really look at life in a different perspective. I started watching spirit science on YouTube, and then from that it just like became a snowball effect of knowledge and just like trying to heal really. Mine didn't really start off with positive affirmations. It's just more like you got to feel things in order to get through them, sort of thing. So that's how I got into it.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Okay, just like really quick, I want to see what was the thing that made you believe that like all of this was real. Was there like a pivotal point? Did something happen in your life, or did you like read about something, or did you see something somewhere that made you like, okay, this stuff is real? Like it's not just what we were trained to believe it is. Like there's a lot more here than we've been told.
My experience was when I stopped eating meat and dairy, I noticed a huge change in how my mind worked. I didn't have such depressing thoughts. I started taking up yoga. I was doing like a lot of Kundalini yoga, and I had this really big breakthrough experience where I felt high. Like a really good spiritual high. Like I felt really grounded to the earth, and that's when I was like, oh my god, this is actually really real, and it's actually like a state of mind versus anything else.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that. Like I just saw a TikTok where they were like learning how like the electrical currents of the earth pass through us when we walk barefoot, and how like our magnetic field changes as opposed to when we wear shoes. walking on like a grassy park, right? Like the difference in energy that you absorb, like the shoes literally supposedly block you from absorbing any of the earth's energy, which I didn't know, because I mean, I live under the impression currently that like we can override certain things, and like even if I wanted to wear shoes on the earth, like I could override the fact that it's not letting me absorb the earth's energy, if that makes sense. Like there's another way to get the earth's energy. At least I think. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna mention this because like I have it written down, and so I just want to talk about like how lately I've been going through these emotions. This was like months ago. This is like not even really relevant now, but still kind of is. Going through these emotions of like, what else is there to do? And I feel like a lot of people might feel that way too, like where you kind of feel like you've done everything almost, but like obviously not. You've obviously not done everything, but you're almost like not tired of life, but it's just like what else do I need to do? You know, like I don't know, like I visualize myself as already in my perfect dream life, yet still feeling like unfulfilled. Like what else is there? I think it's because like, I don't know, I guess we can never be truly fully happy unless I guess you're like back being one with the universe, if that makes sense. Because let's say you reach that one dream life and you've achieved everything on your bucket list, you've had all the successes you wanted, you've achieved all the material things, all the emotional things as well. So now what? Like you're at the top, and now what? You help other people get to the top? You just like, I feel like you just get more new goals, right? You would get like new goals?
No. I feel like when you go through life, you learn the same, you say like literally the same things. It's just deeper truths every time.
Okay.
And yeah, I think it's just, I learned that you can feel good and feel at the top of the world when you're thinking like really happy thoughts. That's what I've learned kind of lately. But yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to get more to you. I don't know. I feel like I don't know where to go after that. Okay. So I just wanted to briefly mention that one thing that annoys me is like how I wish the conversation of like other life was common, like getting into like my Lyft driver's car, and if I'm bored and want to talk, like let's talk about aliens, but don't think I'm schizophrenic.
Yeah, right.
Or at a store or like a grocery shop, asking like random people if they believe in aliens. Like it's just not going to happen. Also, to my understanding, us starseeds can't be doing that kind of shit in the first place, because we honestly don't know who's in the like opposing side, and knowing the stuff,
yeah,
like
exactly.
We don't know who's walking among us. And also like the dark side, if they found out who we were, they'd know, who knows what they'd do to us. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so in the book, I didn't really finish reading this book because I didn't really resonate with a lot of the practices. But I want to mention that in the book, Your Psychic by Deborah Katz, she mentions that if you ever feel yourself feeling emotions or energy that's not your own, it's you absorbing or feeling someone else's energy. Like if you enter a room or are with someone and you start having weird visuals that you'd never have, you're most likely tuning into their energy or someone's previous thought forms. If you're around someone or with someone that you don't sexually like, but they sexually like you, and you abruptly start having sexual thoughts about them or with them, then you are confusing their thoughts for you as your own. These are all examples of you demonstrating that you are psychic for those non-believers. Okay, you haven't done the Merkaba meditation?
No, not yet.
Oh, shoot.
I know.
Okay, we'll be back with that later. But I just want to briefly talk about the Merkaba meditation by Drunvalo Melchizedek, the author of The Flower of Life, or The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, volume 1 and 2. It was crazy.
I still have to read like volume 2.
I haven't read volume 2 yet, but it's really crazy, and you definitely have to be by yourself when you do it. And my bodily reaction was really crazy. I was like, not hypothermic, but like I was really, really cold after. And no, it was not because of the air conditioning. It was because of the breathing technique. Like it's really weird how that works. Okay. So we're doing this in no order. This is all over the place. Mm-hmm. So you said, I don't even know. Is that okay if I talk about this?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you said you've had psychedelics. Tell me about your experience, and also where do we go consciously in these trips, and does it depend on several variables where you go, like your age, your experience, how much the dosage was, what drug it was, and what emotion or vibration you're at while consuming it?
That's a good question. I think it's different for everybody though. Like, my experiences weren't like super out there. I think there was only probably 2 experiences I could really talk about because they have substance. And it was the first time I tried psychedelics, and I was in the city, and the person I was with was like really conscious about like where you do it, how much you do, and your mindset. He was really into psychedelics at the time, and he was like, because we were just coming down from a hike and into the city, he was like, you're probably angry because you feel like all the heavy vibrations from like all the stuff going on like in the city and on the road. And that was about the first experience. And then there was another experience where I was just drinking. I don't recommend it, but I did it alone in my room. I didn't drink a lot, but I drank enough to like feel it, and then I took it, and it was just a really long ride. It lasted probably like 7-8 hours, but it felt like 2 or 3 because of the alcohol. And that experience probably forever changed my life, because I remember being in this dark room, and I saw like, trigger warning, but I saw like a dead baby. And I think in my mind it was like a part of me that was kind of like dead, I guess you could say. And I think when you do psychedelics, it takes you to a different state of mind, and you got to be really careful when you take it, because you don't know what's going to show up, and I don't think you can really control like what you see.
But is it, depending on like what you do, isn't it contracted, do you think? I guess like what you see or who you encounter in that realm.
Yeah, it has to be. I think everything pretty much that you experience
is contracted.
Yeah.
I agree with that too, like especially with the book I'm reading now, Extraterrestrial Contact by Kathleen Martin. A lot of experiencers talk about how they're being taken against their free will, but that's their ego talking. Like, they don't know, obviously they don't know that was like contracted before incarnating. Mm-hmm. Even like negative experiences are contracted. Mm-hmm. Like the guy died from inviting, I was telling you about this yesterday, but it was a crazy story. I can briefly mention it before we end the episode because the camera's gonna shut off. So basically this guy had done CE5 contact, which is basically like a procedure to bring different procedures to bring like UFOs into your space, specifically non-human like intelligences. And he did bring UFOs, and then so UFOs travel through like portals, right? Mm-hmm. Or that's one method. So he didn't close the portal, or they didn't close the portal, and so he kept inviting things in, and he thought he was inviting ETs in, but he was inviting low vibrational entities. One of them had like it was like a ghostly apparition kind of, and it had like the face of a wolf. So weird. But yeah, he ended up dying, and see, like, I feel like that's contracted. Not in a good way, but okay, so we will continue in episode 2.